Talking about pay-per-view, Usyk-Joshua 2 is certainly box office. We know Joshua signed a deal with Dazn, but heavy reports going around that from a UK point of view, Anthony Joshua's next fight will be on Sky Sports box office against Alexander Usyk. I know you can't make any sort of official comment on it because it hasn't been officially announced yet, but I'm sure you have seen the reports, Johnny. As I said, strong reports on Sky Sports box office. That fight will be. Your comments and thoughts?
I heard the same as you. If it is true, then that'll be I don't know. Is it a bit of pill to swallow? Is that because to me if it is true, for Dazn, if Dazn are wanting to put themselves in a situation where everybody knows who they are, this was that springboard. This was that opportunity. This was that fight. You've got two of the most, or at least one of the most famous fighters in the world currently at the moment fighting, and so it's a lost opportunity. This is business, and how this has come about. I don't understand. I don't know, because Matchroom is Dazn, Joshua is Matchroom and Dazn. I'm quite sure Dazn with Matchroom and AJ put the bids in for it. The TV rights, if that is the case, have gone to Sky. If that is the case, so that's a headache for that side over there. That's a massive headache because over this side of the water, otherwise, you've got Canelo, big name. You get him on Dazn. You've got the fight fans that get it, but again, it's capturing the casual's imagination. So I'm not adhering. I'm not the head of Sky, but common sense tells you from a business point of view, is this good for business? I don't think so, because it'd be a great chance to catapult Dazn and Matchroom into the casuals' faces. For Sky, you know what? Sky are very good at putting these things together. Sky are very good at selling a package and getting the casuals. So if that is the case, I'm quite sure Sky will do an amazing job. And, they understand, AJ's ties with Matchroom and Dazn, but they're saying, you know what, we want to put this on. This is good business. And again, it's just business. That's just how it is. I don't know how Eddie will explain it to his bosses at Dazn, but it's good business, and that's just how it is. But again, I know as much as you do. I've read what you have read. I've heard the whispers that you have heard. Now, so when I heard, I thought, really? How's that come about? So if that is the case, great. I work for Sky. It's a great show to be involved in. And because realistically, I'd have sat at home thinking, bloody hell, but I'll be able to relax and watch it. But I thought, Jesus, because all the ins and outs of what happens backstage. Yeah. It's a great thing to be involved in. So if I'm honest, I was kind of happy. I'm like, you're joking. If that is true, brilliant.
Well, how it's happened is that Eddie spoke about this, is that Joshua's deal with Dazn didn't include this fight. So this fight, Saudi Skills Challenges own the rights. So they've put it out on the market, and from reports, Sky Sports have won the rights for the UK. But we'll see when an official announcement comes. On the fight itself, not long to go. You've always maintained when Joshua has a rematch, like you did with the Ruiz one, that you're thoroughly confident. We know this is a different proposition in Alexander Usyk. So confident still 4 or 5 weeks out?
I am confident. I am confident. It's not an impossible ask. It's a tougher ask, yes, but it's not an impossible ask. And so in that, let me just get rid of that. I'll get it. And that's it. Nah, it's not an impossible ask, but I do believe that he can turn it on. He can turn it around, but it's going to be much tougher than the Ruiz rematch. But it's not an impossible ask. So yeah, I am confident Anthony Joshua can turn this over. Let's just look at the facts. Yes, Alexander Usyk. He's done everything. Pedigree-wise, he's done a hell of a lot more. He's got a hell of a lot more than Anthony Joshua. Then you look at him now turning, and I always said this guy's the heir apparent. Even that was in his 4 professional fight, when he's only been 4 professional fights and he's a professional. I was probably underwhelmed with his heavyweight debut. So I thought, I thought maybe they made more of an impression. But these things take time to adjust to the way all fighters done it. Evander Holyfield did it, Michael Moore did it. That transition is probably not as smooth, not as exciting, or crash bang wallop. Then you saw Derek Chisora take it to Usyk and use his strength. He used his natural weight and power to make it hard for Usyk. And Derek fought like a kamikaze pilot, and that's what he had to do to make Usyk feel uncomfortable and make the fight tight. Anthony Joshua, when he boxed Usyk, he gave this man space. He gave him space to breathe. He gave him space to think. He gave him space to ponder and assess. Now, so if you're in with somebody as skillful, you've got to take these skills away from them. You can't try and match. Why would you try and match a man that's actually very good at something, at what he does? That's the wrong time to be testing to see if you're going to win a bet. What you do is you put out what you've got, the best of what you've got, and get the job done. I think as fights previous to this, Anthony Joshua has probably become more intelligent as a fighter, instead of having that rough edge about him, that roughness about him, that probably got him up to this stage in the first place. He needs to revert back to that rough edge, that street boy, that bit of ghetto, and he needs to bring that into that fight because, and again, I'd said it before, I don't know if I'd said it to you guys, but in my head, what I've seen of the presser so far, I thought that he'd made Usyk feel far too comfortable in his presence. And to me, historically, look at our fight game. Historically, look at big fights that were out there. Historically, this has been something that you just don't do, even if you don't mean it. Look at Hagler, Hearns. Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard. When that fight was on, these guys hated each other. Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran. It wasn't just about the build to the fight. It was everything apart from that. I think Hagler didn't speak to Leonard about 10 years after, and the rest, because it was that creating, AJ needs to create that kind of environment. And he's a polite young guy, but, this is business. So this is what you've got to do in business. You can't be making this man feel comfortable around him. It's that simple. And when I saw it, I just thought, no, man, I'm not feeling that. That doesn't work. That, to me, this is warfare now. This is something that takes time. It's like you got to cook it well. You've got to build it up. You've got to make this. You've got to get this. You've got to not just stabilize his body. You've got to stabilize his brain. You've got to make this man get him thinking and feeling uncomfortable. Right? Thinking, is he going to bring something different? Is he a madman? He's going to, Mike Tyson did it. He had most people beat before they even throw a glove. AJ needs to create that kind of persona around he and Usyk, and it's not too late. It's not too late at all. These guys be saying, "Yeah, it's just business." No, man, I know it's business, but this is part of business. And so now he needs to just switch it up, complete switch up. Even if he's got to pretend that he's lost the plot, and he's got to make this guy think about him more than AJ thinks about him. And that's the only criticism I'd have of it. Do I think AJ can pull off a win? Yes, I do. Do I think it's a lot tougher than the Ruiz fight? Well, hell yeah. But I do not think it's an impossible ask.
Be interesting to see how he behaves on fight week in Saudi Arabia in about 4 or 5 weeks, definitely.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.